after I introduced all the command of surface modeling. In this part, I will base on these theories and commands to create a spoon. Firstly, we need to check the shape. In this case, this is a symmetrical shape. We only need to create half of this shape. Face 1 and Face 2 are very easy to create. The difficulty is how to create the connected face. Don't worry, you will get the result after this lesson. We need to draw all the outlines according to the spoon, and then extrude the relevant sketch to get the intersection frame. Then the frames are created based on the auxiliary plane. We need to pay attention to set the 90 degrees in the position where need to mirror. After we get all the outlines, we can create surface 1 and surface 2. The rest segment is a 5-sided surface. We need to create a new spline to divide it into 2 segments. Create the surface for one of them. We need to make the rest of the segment to be a 4-sided surface that can make a high-quality surface. And then trim the surface with a spline and then create the surface. The half of the spoon is completed. Next, use the mirror, sew, and trim plane command to create the spoon. Finally, thicken it. Okay, after a brief introduction about how to use the surface command to design the spoon, let's move on to ZW3D to show more detail to you. Okay, today, I will use this spoon as a sample to show you how to use surface modeling to design the product in ZW3D. Firstly, we need to have its prototype. This shape is designed by ID engineers and they usually use Rhino to design it normally. So when we import the Rhino file on ZW3D, it will be a shape. Secondly, we need to check the shape. You can see, this spoon is symmetrical. So we can just create half of it and then use the mirror command to create the other side. Okay, this is the idea of creating this part. After that, we need to consider how to create half of the spoon. The outline of the spoon is not regular. So we need to create its wireframe and then create its surface. Finally, sew them as a closed shape or thicken the surface to be solid. Let's begin to outline the spoon. Normally, we will create the sketch, and then use the spline command to outline the spoon carefully. After drawing one segment, we convert the spline into through-point curves so that we can adjust the points to make the line fits the outline of the spoon, which make the surface fits the face of the spoon. This spline seems okay, let's check it one by one. It's okay, let's create another line. Apart from adjusting the points, we can display the curvature cone to check the quality of the spline. We can see, the curvature of the spline is not good. We can adjust the line curvature through the points. Next, we draw the next line. Finally, we draw the final spline and then adjust it. We need more patience to adjust it. Now, the sketch in this view is finished. Next, I draw another sketch on another view. The method is almost the same as the previous view. But we need to refer to the relevant lines or points from the previous sketch. It is very important because we will generate the 3D space curve base on the reference lines and points after completing this sketch. Please note that during the modeling. And the other key point is that we need to set the 90 degrees on the start and end points. If not, there will have an obvious line in the mirror junction. Because we need to mirror the shape in the end. It will affect the appearance quality. After setting the 90 degrees, we adjust the points. We need more patience to adjust it. The method of creating this spline is the same as the second spline, but it is difficult to refer to the spline of the spoon. So I switched the visual style into wireframe type. Now it is very clear to get the outline. Then draw the spline. Set the 90 degrees and adjust the points. We can also set the dimension to fix the points. After that, we adjust the spline through the points patiently. We need more patience to adjust it. We can set the dimension to fix this points. Let's continue to adjust it. It will be finished soon. Now, all the outlines are done. Next, hide the solid, then extrude the sketches to be surfaces. Get the intersection line. Then we can hide the auxiliary surfaces and their sketches. Next move, we need to create the frame of the spoon. First, we draw a line in this position. Then extrude it to be surface. I will create a sketch base on this surface. Refer to intersection points. And then draw a spline. Show the spoon and get the intersection spline with reference command. We can adjust our spline base on the intersection one. There may have some deviations between the spline and the intersection one. Don't worry, it is very normal. We just need to make the spline fits the intersection one. Show the curvature comb to check the curvature. It seems good. So this spline is finished. The auxiliary surface can be hidden after finishing the frame so that the surface will not block our view. The drawing method of other frames is almost the same as this. But don't forget to set the 90 degrees to the position where need to mirror. Adjust it with more patience. Hide the surface and solid, and as well as all the sketch. Next step, we can create the surface by the curve mesh command. You can select this spline after you change the filter to curve. Okay, this surface is completed. The method of this surface is similar to the first one. But we need to check the extend to intersection point because this is 3 sides face. Okay, now, only the connected surface needs to be created. But you can see, this is 5-sided surface. We need to draw a frame to divide it into 2 areas. One of them is a 4-side surface and the other is a 3-side surface. So, we create another sketch. Draw a line through these 2 points. Then extrude it to be an auxiliary surface. Refer to these 2 splines to get the intersection points. Create the spline base on these 2 points. Don't forget to set the 90 degrees. And set the tangent constraint for this spline. Refer to the intersection spline to adjust the line. Show the curvature comb. The degree still needs to adjust. I increase the degree. It seems okay. Convert the spline type. It lacks a referenced spline here. I display the solid to refer to it again. Let's adjust the spline. We need more patience to adjust it. It seems to have some problems, which the control point can't be adjusted. I delete it and draw it again. Don't forget to set the 90 degrees. And set the tangent constraint for this spline. Okay, hide the surface and solid to make it clearer. Adjust it with more patience. Hide the auxiliary surface and the solid. Create the surface and set the continuity. Switch visual type into analyze type. We can see the zebra stripes are connected. It means the continuity between these two surfaces is G1. Switch visual type into shade. Show this wireframe of the spoon. Create a sketch and then draw a spline. Using this spline to trim the surface which created just now. Okay, we got the four-side surface now. Create the surface. Uncheck the extend to the intersection point. Setting the constraint. We need to make the edge matching the constraint. And then sew them together. Show the zebra stripes to check the constraints. It looks so good. Up to now, the surfaces of spoon is created. Next, we need to trim the convergence point of the surface. Because this surface is a three-sided surface, it must have a convergence point. I create the UV line on the surface to make it clear. This is the convergence point. We need to manage to trim it. Create a sketch and then draw a two-spline. Adjust splines. Using the trimming command to trim the surface. After that, create a new surface. Pay attention to the boundary constraint. But you can see, there has a gap. But don't worry, we can use the sew command to sew all surfaces together. Okay, mirror the surface. And create the bottom surface. All the surface of the spoon is completed. Finally, thicken it. The spoon is finished. Okay, this is all the content of this video. Thanks for your watching.